First of all, Pete, just talk us through how, when and why this all happened.
Yeah, well, I can be very short about that. Coronavirus.
When was the decision made? Was it through Gertjan or was it through the club? Or talk us through the process of how this came to be.
No, this was a decision through Gertjan. Eventually, we've been talking the last weeks when he was still here about the future of football in Australia and the uncertainties that are surrounding it. And yeah, I've told him frankly, we don't know what's going to happen. We have travel restrictions in place. I hear the Prime Minister announcing that until there's a cure, there'll be social distancing in place. That has a huge effect on our club, on other sports clubs, on cinemas, theatres, the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra, and many other companies and institutes. That means that when are things going to be back to normal? That will take a long time. Will they be back to half normal? Yeah, they will be much quicker, but then things will not be the same as they were before. And yeah, when you are coming from the other side of the world, then these are things to consider. And he said, look, well, I think it's better if we have our hands free, and yeah, then we'll see what the future brings. So
it's fair to say that Gertjan was quite agreeable with this, and I mean, you said in your release.
No, absolutely, of course.
Is it something where he would come back to the club maybe down the future, or this is pretty much the last we've seen?
We don't know. We've even left that open.
For the club, just talk us right now, what's the current situation with the league and how that's all going about? It's still May 31, I think, is when we might hear the next instalment, but just talk us through that. Yeah,
well, that's as much as I know. We are waiting for news on resuming the current competition. That's step one. Step two is what is next year? What will that be looking like? Are we going to start in October as usual? Will we be starting later? We don't know yet, and that's really, every day things change. I think it's up to the FFA to work some things out, and the clubs are ready to pick up the glove and start again.
Gertjan spoke about the difficult financial situation of the club. Can you expand on that?
Well, that's a difficult financial situation for many companies, including our club, and we are not different to anyone else. But given that many companies are in trouble, and if we are not able to sell tickets, for instance, other coaches are starting to play games without a crowd. Yeah, that makes a huge difference on your revenue stream, of course, and also on the money you have to spend. So,
do you think that's also partly in terms of what he was trying to build here at the club as well? He did speak throughout the season of struggling to get talent and particular players that he was after. Is that also part of it, do you think, as well?
No, not at all, because the mission was from the start to develop young players, and I think what has been really great this year is I think we've seen the dawn of a new era of a golden generation of South Australian football players, and that was what we were aiming for, and that was the message, and he's done a fantastic job in that. So
where will you look now for a coach? Is it somewhere will you consider an Australian coach, or will you still look into overseas? That's all right. Talk us through the next steps now. Will you start looking local, continue the international push that the club's been doing recently, or where will you look for the next head coach?
Well, it's more likely that we will be looking at an Australian coach at the moment, also because travel restrictions are in place, so practically it would be difficult to find a foreign coach. And yeah, it's our philosophy to be an Australian club and start from there.
What's the job with the import players? I guess you're probably not going to be able to actually bring imports in for the foreseeable future.
That's one of the other problems, exactly. So when are things back to normal? I don't know.
It's the uncertainty around the A-League's TV rights. Is that, I guess, how big of a concern is that for the club as well?
That is a huge concern. Obviously, if you cannot sell tickets and there would be a problem with the TV deal, then yeah, we have no business model. That is a huge uncertainty, and that will be solved. But whether that will take 1 month or 3 months or 6 months, there's an interest in sport in Australia, there's a huge interest in football in Australia, but things have to be back to normal, and we have to be able to operate as a football club, and playing games behind closed doors without a crowd, yeah, that is something you can consider, but that should not be the aim of playing football.
Yeah. Obviously France has called an end to its season pretty much. Do you think the A-League should do the same, make a call that you said, you shouldn't play without crowds, it looks like we're not going to be able to have crowds for a while?
Well, that is the question. It would be good. If you start a competition, you want to know who is the best, and that is the aim of having a sports competition, so ideally you would finish it. But yeah, how long can you wait? it could be a good pre-season towards a new competition if the new competition would be starting a bit later than normal. But again, this is all speculation. I don't have an answer to these questions.
Is this perhaps an opportunity for the A-League to consider moving into the winter and not be a summer sport?
Everything is an opportunity as far as I'm concerned. Playing games here at 38 degrees without a roof, that's not ideal. Not for players and not for the crowds.
Just back to the coaching, do you think that you've got a coach here that's capable of taking over? I know Carl's the interim at the moment, but is that someone where you could probably look to promote someone from within?
No, I don't want to go speculate about candidates at this moment.